Hello and welcome to Sport Vibes on DNTWOK. Ours is to always bring you the latest update and some of the biggest news across the world of sports. My name is Bolaji Alimi, the sports pilot, and I will be flying you around the world of sports this moment. So stay tuned, keep it locked here, and get set for this ride. Let's start off with tennis, where there's this controversial issue emanating yet again. In the month of November 2021, tennis star Peng Shuai made a post that really led to a lot of controversy that made quite a number of people worry about what's going on in China, especially with this tennis player. And now, tennis star Peng Shuai says there has been a huge misunderstanding over a social media post in which she claimed she was forced into having sexual relations with a former Chinese party leader. The November 2021 post was swiftly deleted and Miss Peng disappeared for weeks, sparking global concern. So this has been on for a while, since the month of November and the last year. And when you look at cases like this, sometimes you just have to say what matters the most is the safety of the player, because there's been allegations, there's been a lot of people saying that maybe she was speaking in a controlled environment. The latest interview was granted to L'Equipe in France, and quite a number of loopholes seems to be there. Nonetheless, as I mentioned earlier, we just hope Peng Shuai is doing quite alright. So from women's tennis, let's talk about women's football, because in Africa there's quite a lot happening. The 2022 African Under-20 Women World Cup qualifiers has been on for a while now, and then finally we are down to just 4 teams. But before we mention or talk about the 4 teams, let's take you through the results in the third round of the qualifiers. Of course, they were all 2-leg affairs, the teams playing both home and away. Ethiopia defeated Tanzania 2-1 on aggregate. Ghana beat Uganda 7-1 on aggregate. Morocco and Senegal needed penalties to settle their clash, and Senegal came out on top at the end of it all with winning 5-4 on penalties. And Nigeria defeated Cameroon 3-0. 191 goals scored in 57 matches so far. 57 matches, 191 goals. That's an average of 3.35 goals per match. When it comes to women's football, especially in Africa, it's still developing, but we have quite some teams that have done well for themselves. For example, when you talk about, and I should mention that the 2022 World Cup should have been held in the year 2020, but was postponed due to the pandemic. So talking about how well African teams are doing in women's football, especially on that level, you want to look at those that have performed the best. No other African team has gone past the group stage in the Under-20 World Cup except the Nigerians, talking about the Falconets, and they have gone as far as the finals. They are the only team to have made the quarterfinals, of course, and they have gone as far as the finals, coming in second position in the year 2010 and 2014, and they were able to secure the 4th position. But to talk about the scoreline and the amount of goals we've seen, of course, that is what fans want to see. You want to see entertaining matches with goals at both ends, especially for neutrals. But for coaches, for people who know the game, they want matches to be more closely contested. And then when you look at how well this has gone, you have to give kudos compared to previous times. Both legs of the 4th and final round should be settled in the month of March, according to the schedule we have. Team Ethiopia, talking about the Ethiopian Under-20 women team, will be up against Ghana, and Senegal will be up against the Falconets of Nigeria. And now let's talk about the African Cup of Nations, the African Football Cup of Nations. Finally, we know our champion, Senegal, defeating Egypt in the final via penalty shootout. And there's quite a number of ways you could report that as a journalist or as a fan, if you'd like to. But I think the most common narrative has to be Sadio Mane, Senegal, up against Mohammed Salah. Of course, Mohammed Salah's Egypt. And then at the end of that, it was Mane with the trophy. A bit of disappointment for Mohammed Salah. Of course, only one team could be crowned champions, and it was for Mane at the end of the day. So there's been this question, and I want to put it to you, viewers. I'll be expecting your comments. Does this prove that Sadio Mane is a better leader than Mohammed Salah? Quite a number of people agree that Mohammed Salah is a better player right now, has been for some time now, even making the final 3 nominees in the FIFA Best Player Award. And now up against Sadio Mane's Senegal, could not really secure what he would have wanted, because you go to a tournament like this to win, especially if you're a player of Mohamed Salah's caliber. But it did not just happen for he and his team. But let's talk about Sadio Mane quickly. This is a man that was involved in 5 goals directly for his team, scoring 3 and assisting 2. I want to talk about his strength of character. He missed a penalty kick very early in the game, and then to get over such a mental setback and then still dig deep to be the man to take the final penalty that secured your nation's victory, a victory that has been long awaited, says a lot about Sadio Mane. How he has grown as a player from his days at Salzburg, talk about Southampton, and how he has evolved as a player under Jurgen Klopp in Liverpool. But this is it right there. This is that trophy Coach Aliou Cisse and the whole Senegal nation has been waiting for some years. And talking about the coach mentioning over 60 years. And this particular coach, Aliou Cisse, was the one who missed a crucial penalty kick when the team lost in 2002. You would recall that Senegal have been involved in 2 AFCON finals in the past, in the year 2002, and the previous edition in Egypt in 2019. So both Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah have been involved in 2 AFCON finals. Salah losing the 2, of course, one in 2017 to Cameroon, and then losing to Senegal this time around. But for Senegal, they lost to Algeria in 2019, but have bounced back this time around. It would have been a huge blow to their mentality, to what they have achieved in the last few years in Africa. You're talking about a team that has been top of the African rankings in football for several years now, and then getting to the final yet again and losing would have been a very detrimental blow. But not to shift our gaze from what we're talking about, does this prove that Sadio Mane is a better leader than Mohamed Salah? Quite a number of things, quite a number of opinions are tendered. Jurgen Klopp, giving his opinion even before the match, mentioned the fact that these guys are huge superstars for their nation. A lot of the football weights rest on their shoulders when it comes to the national team, and of course they have delivered to have been among the final 2 nations of all the nations we have in Africa. Says a lot. That is not a mean feat, so kudos to both. But that is what sport is about. You just want to know the final, the best. It's not enough to know the best 2 in sports. It's not enough to know the top 3. You want to know who that man is, who the champion is, and that is what Senegal have done. That is what Sadio Mane has shown. But an interesting question you would want to ask is, how do they relate when they get back to Liverpool? Because of course their attention, their focus shifts to Liverpool now, where they are still involved, still in contention for several trophies. Of course, chasing Manchester City in the Premier League and several other competitions. And then you want to look at how these players will relate. That was one of the things the coach in Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, mentioned even before the final. Talking about the immediate future, the relationship may not be there because they are humans at the end of the day. But on a longer term basis, you want to look at the fact that these would further strengthen them in terms of experience and the strength of character both players have. So Mane, congratulations. But it's still not over, because these 2 teams yet again will be slugging it out in the month of March for a place. A single place is available for one of the 2 teams in the World Cup holding in Qatar later this year. So would it be a chance for revenge for Egypt and Mohamed Salah? Would it be Sadio Mane doing a double over his friend and teammates? We'll wait to see that. That is what makes our sport interesting. That is what makes football very interesting. So we keep our fingers crossed and expect the very best from that end. And now, before we wrap up the show, please don't forget to subscribe if you have not done that yet. You don't want to miss any of the quality content we will be dishing out right here. So you can pause the video right now and click the subscribe button below. And of course, try and follow us across our social media platforms from Facebook to Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and of course Telegram. Ensure you're following so that you can get the latest updates, not just on sports. Sport Vibes, very interesting. I know you've been enjoying it, but quite a number of decent and very educative program we dish out here on DNTWOK. So now, before we wrap up the show for this week, there's still another World Cup ongoing, but this time around, this is not involving nations, not involving countries. This is the Club World Cup, an international club competition organized by FIFA to know the best of the 6 champions across the 6 confederations. Chelsea looking to finally secure their first. They were not able to do that last time out, getting defeated in the finals against the Brazilian team Corinthians. But this time around, of course, there have been challenges. So is this that time for Chelsea? Is Edouard Mendy going to win yet again another trophy this year? You know, you talk about this man has won quite a lot in the last few months, and now he's still in contention to win the Club World Cup. And that is how far we'll go on Sport Vibes this week. Yet again, I'd like to remind you, don't forget to subscribe. You really don't want to miss out on the top quality content we dish out right here. My name is Bolaji, Alimi the Sports Pilot. Thank you so much. Bye for now.